This is a demonstration of my use of the MimioPad in controlling and annotating my PowerPoint presentations. The MimioPad is a wireless radio frequency device that allows me to remotely control the cursor on my laptop computer. It has a sensitive area of the screen that has a proximity sensor for the pen, and the screen essentially corresponds to the full extent of the screen of the computer. And as you can see, I'm controlling the cursor on the screen, and this proximity sensor picks up the pen when it's about a centimeter or so from the screen surface. And in so doing, by the way, it's working through a USB receiver. It's a radio frequency device at 2.4 gigahertz. And when you plug in the USB receiver and you turn on the tablet, you basically are able to control the cursor remotely in this way. Now, there are additional features that come into play when you use the tablet with the proprietary software known as Mimio Studio Notebook. And when you open up Notebook, it brings up essentially a blank page that, along with the Mimio Studio Tools functions, allows you to now draw on the screen in various ways. In this case, I'm choosing what's known as the pen tool, and so I can draw on the pen. Now, the tablet surface itself doesn't have a picture of the screen, so you're essentially controlling the pen by hand-eye coordination, by watching how it moves on the computer screen, or if you're using it in a classroom, how it appears on the projected image on the screen. So you can change the colors of the pen. You can change the size of what's drawn with the pen. You can also choose to produce lines and other kinds of shapes. So we could do an arrow, for example, and we could do boxes. There are a variety of other ways. There's also an eraser that allows you to erase the things that you've drawn. If you want to get rid of a particular object, then you have to select that and then click X to erase it. In my particular case, what I find is the real utility of this is by loading into the software my PowerPoint presentations. So in this particular case, if I open, and in this case, the variety of choices, in fact, it could be files that might have been used with a smart board. But in this case, I'm choosing PowerPoint, and if I select that, open that up, it will now open a new screen. Actually, it opens PowerPoint temporarily as well. So here's the set of slides that I have for the PowerPoint. I can close that, and in a few seconds, the loaded document appears in the screen within the Mimio Studio Notebook software. And so now all the PowerPoint slides essentially are arranged within this presentation. And it now allows me to not only manipulate the slides, but also to annotate them. And so I can go through the slides using these forward and backward arrows, but I can also control it from the tablet, as I had noted before, because there are controls right on the tablet that allow me to go back and forth. So, if I expand the viewing area to fill the screen, it now basically allows me to have a maximized screen without all the other clutter on the screen, and I can then go through my presentation. Now, in this particular case, being able to select the pens on a particular color now allows me to annotate things on the screen. And for example, I can, in the presentation and prompting students to give me an answer to a question I'm essentially posing on the screen, I can write in the answer. In this case, hormones are blood-borne agents or secretions. I might have put I can also basically I can also underline or do a variety of things. In this particular case, I might write in an additional answer that the pancreas has both insulin as an endocrine secretion and bicarbonate as an exocrine secretion. I can then move ahead to another slide, do another annotation. For example, an endocrine secretion of the kidneys is erythropoietin, EPO. But let's say something comes up and I want to go to a previous slide. What I've written on the previous slides is retained in this particular system. I can also use highlighters that would allow me to highlight certain things. Let's say these are the particular glands I'm going to be talking about today. The others we'll talk about at some other point. And here's a case where if I'm planning to talk about a distinction between two kinds of hormone actions, those that involve water-soluble hormones and lipid-soluble, and I plan on making a drawing, I can leave space on a blank slide to do the drawing. For example, in this particular case, I'm going to draw a cell and a nucleus and show that water-soluble hormones can only go up to the membrane, but that lipid-soluble hormones can go all the way across the membranes into the nucleus. But a really nice feature of the Mimio software is that I can also introduce a blank page and do the same kind of drawing, and then still be able to go back to previous pages as well. The software allows me to save the drawings that I've made. And by the way, these drawings could be made beforehand if you find that you want to make the drawings as part of preparing the presentation. And then it also allows me to save the drawings that I've made. The proprietary software essentially makes a Mimio Studio file, which in this particular case is not PowerPoint, but is in the .ink format for ink, and takes a minute. And so if I were to close this, I could then go on to open up Notebook again, and I could go back and open a recent file. And let's say I was lecturing and didn't completely finish a presentation and wanted to come back to the same set of slides and continue on. I could load it up and continue with the presentation, go on to the very end, possibly go through a review of what I'd spoken about previously, and then begin the next presentation at the end of where I'd left off.